once in a while the story ended. I came here in July of 2000. September 1st was my first day full-time. My last day at Anderson Worldwide was August 31st of 2000. The next 4 months, just brought in 8 people. They brought in 35. I have a team of 43 people, make SFD, and we're off to the races, my friends. That is what happens when you finally get it. So I'm excited for you guys. You know, in this day and age, you always want to know what AI is going to say. ChatGPT, Grok, whatever it is, whatever you want, it doesn't really matter. And it's always fascinating me. Why do some people continue to think linearly, and some people, in the search for the show family and about them, you just see multiples. What's the difference? You talk about Schwan Wynn or Kenny Oy and all these great leaders. What's the difference? And can I be like them? So I asked Grok. If you like rock, that's what you want to ChatGPT, I don't care. But I asked Grok, why do humans think linearly? Why am I programmed to think in straight lines? And it just so happens that it's all part of how we evolved, our brains evolved. And the bottom line is, it's because it's practical, we needed it for survival, and we've been conditioned from day one. Think about this, everybody. You go to grade school, why? You get good grades, you go to high school. Why do you want good grades in high school? So you get into a good college. Why must you have good grades in college? So you can get a great job or go to law school or med school or whatever. And then you're going to talk to an employer, they're going to talk to you, and they're going to interview you and make sure you are right for them. And the funniest thing about it is we're all programmed to then retire at 65 and have a great retirement. That's our programming, where we've never been taught to think linearly. And I just find that fascinating. So I asked Grok again, can a human actually start to think exponentially? Here's what it said. I found this fascinating. I'm just going to share a couple of ideas with you. And there's an AI step-by-step guide how everyone in here can start to think exponentially. The first one is understand exponential growth. Grasp the concept. Now, if you were here last night, if you're here today, how can you not grasp that this thing is a hockey stick? All of my Canadian friends know what a hockey stick is. It kind of starts slow and then boom, it goes off. I heard a Canadian in here. Is there a Canadian in this room? I don't want to show you guys up, but if I say anyone from Colorado in here, it'll be much louder.
Yes.
But just grasp that concept. Then focus on compounding effects. Train yourself to spot all the compounding that's happening around here. Number 4, I just want to point this out really quickly. What if our opportunity scales non-linearly? What if it really scales? Think of the rule of 72. What if everything grows disproportionately to how we've been trained? That's exactly what this thing is meant to do. Practice long-term thinking. Some of the leaders you saw last night have been in this thing for 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years. And we can just, as a group, start thinking longer term that what you do now is going to matter in the future. So you do it right, you do it as ethically as possible, we change some lives, and you're going to be very proud of what you build here. I promise you on that. So practice long-term thinking. Leverage data, leverage tools, track metrics. Number 7, we all have a leaders bulletin. How do you compare on that? Track it. I love number 8, cultivate curiosity and openness. I'm open to some of these new ideas. 25 years ago, my morning, I was way up there, and I was a little bit closed. In the afternoon, I was less closed. The second or third day, I was right up front saying, I'm so curious. How does something so simple, that's so necessary, how do people miss it? People don't know how to retire. People don't know how to give protection for their families. We show people how to have better lives. And that's the best thing about what we do. And I just love it. You'll never get tired of it. Number 9, train through practice. WFT is not a spectator sport. You've got to put on the pads. You've got to go out there and you've got to practice your trade. And lastly, save the best for last, you surround yourself with exponential thinking. What happened last night? What happened this morning? Everyone we're going to be hearing from today, and including the next 2 speakers, it's all about exponential. It's all about it. So expose yourself to it. Surround yourself with these experts. I predict that some of your lives will be changed because you made the decision to come here. And I can't wait to see who the next leaders are going to be in this organization, because we are desperately needed. So AI has a step-by-step guide. how to think exponentially, and so does WP. It's called the DFS system. I love the DFS. I love the 6 steps. I love the speed filters. People sometimes will say, "You're still using that?" I'm like, "Yeah, it works great, doesn't it? It's fantastic." So guys, we're in for a great afternoon here today. I'm so excited to introduce the next 2 speakers. The first speaker is from Edmonton, Canada. I love Edmonton. Got a lot of friends in Edmonton. But Bernardo Infante. Bernardo is kind of one of those corporate refugees, an industrial engineer working in a morning, 46 degrees below zero, looking out the window, kind of look out the window and say, "Does it roll me to do this for a living?" And he goes, "Yeah, that was me. I did the same thing." But listen to this, guys. He has produced in 10 years 38 SMDs. He's got 16 ring earners, 500 licensed reps, 500, and he just got his $1.5 million ring and soon to be $2 million. So you're going to be hearing from Bernardo first of all, and then we got Brendan Hendricks. Oh my gosh, what a stud! What a stud! Division I athlete, baseball player, University of San Francisco. His wife played hockey for Dartmouth. Yes, the Dartmouth. And these two are a power couple. They are doing the business the right way. He's been in this business for 9 years. He came straight out of college, never had quote unquote a real job, right? And he appreciates what we have here. You're going to be hearing from him. He is outstanding, 150 licenses. He's got 8 SMDs. He tells me that he's going to be an EVC here in another 2 months, and he is soon to have that $1.5 million ring. Everybody, I give you, please let us WFG welcome to Bernardo Infante.
Boom! Big step, big impact.
You're working on a...
You can go.
Well, they called my name. Infante, right?
Oh, it's me, Sealy, Bernardo Infante.
Oh, okay, Paquito. Thanks for making our name very damn.
That's what I want to be talking about, guys, is turning your name into legacy. Because you have 2 options here, guys. You have number 1, you can follow your legacy that our parents gave you, or you can build a new one. So for me, there you go. Started on a great start. I was born in the north of Mexico. Any Latinos in the house? So I didn't have a good start because guess what? After 3 years old, my parents had this idea of getting divorced. So when they split, I was like in the middle. I was like drifting from one house to another. So if my mom would say yes, I would go with my dad, get her permission. If my dad would say no, or vice versa. In the first 18 years of my life, I was like that, jumping from one place to another. So I was like, that was not a good start. I'm like, man, I just need one opportunity, just a real chance. So somebody told me, hey, you should get a good education. My recommendation is go to school. Engineering sounds fine. People need oil and gas. So you should go into school. And all those great ideas, but when I went for getting the resources and pay for my tuition, guess what? Nobody gave me the money. I talked to my parents. I went from one side and say, son, sorry, I didn't have the money. I went to the other side. They say, sorry. They got remarried and they got their own families. And then I went and talked to my uncles. They were a little bit more well off. Nothing crazy, but I also talked to them. And I don't blame them, except then they say no. I was like kind of in the middle. It was a little wild. So like, okay, that's fine. So I went to work for different random jobs between the 18 to 20 years old just to get that enough resources, enough money so I can go back to school. So then I went back and I got like a scholarship with a combination of the income that I had, and I continued going there. But guess what? At the end, I was looking for one chance. I got my education, my degree, but there's no jobs, no opportunities. So then I started applying online, and that's when I find this opportunity to move into Canada. Any Canadian? I'm so grateful for Canada. They received me with open arms. They made me the family man that I'm right now. They get me wealthy. Pretty much, I love Canada. So I moved there, but I didn't start as an engineer. They give me the Canadian shovel. So instead of construction and landscaping, I started removing snow. I minus 40 with a pair of jeans, a t-shirt, and that's Coleman. You don't feel everything, or pretty much you don't feel anything. So I start working there, and then obviously after a couple of years, I started working the corporate ladder, and then somebody told me, hey, you're gonna find a really good job, work oil and gas, you're a professional, you're bilingual, you can do well, and then I started working with a big corporation. But they promised me job security, let me tell you. Oh yeah, WG. It's a lie, job security. After a couple of years, I was working, what Brian was talking about, -30, -40 in the winter, and they laid me off after like an uncertainty in the Middle East, and I was laid off, and I was like, man, I'm just looking one opportunity, but a real one, an opportunity that they're not gonna lay me off, and then I got with this amazing company called WG. And it's a real deal, guys. They told me they will never lay you off. It will measure, it will magnify your work ethic. So if you do well, nobody will stop you. They will not stop your promotions. And I started building and building and building. I got licensed in a couple of weeks. And then MD, SMD, by year 7 or 8, we started crossing 7 figures. So it was like amazing. But it was just the work ethic that we see here in WG, guys. And then there's not all the candy company there. It's the strength of character. I can see with my leadership, with the Camps and the Gregs, the Real, the Rajas, the Rich Solis, the Monkey Homes. You cannot duplicate that. And that's why I planted my flag and I started doing and building it. And I'm so happy that I got the recognition for the MVP for the team last night. And things have been amazing. But the thing, guys, 10 years ago, I never thought that I was gonna need WG. I wanted WG to have my back. So you saw my two boys, my oldest son, his name is Saint Bernard Infante, and he's been with me like through thick and thin, and always a positive attitude. And I put him on soccer academies and someone to just be competitive and be there. But just recently in December, he got picked in the academy. And I want to talk to the coach, just to ask, like, improvement and coachability. But the coach told me there's nothing wrong with his skills. It's with his size, his height, and weight. Because right now he's starting to be more competitive. He's going to start competing with people who are like 15, 14 years old, so they double their size and double their weight. So he cannot play in this division. If not, he's going to probably get injured. And I know Mexicans are short. I'm not denying that, guys. So when you're playing with Caucasians who are like 7 feet tall, I get it. But I start getting a little concerned. It's also, I have a couple classmates in DCI, so he's the shortest. So I would talk to my wife, she'd be really supportive, say, hey, let's take our kid back to Mexico. Let's get the best doctors. And why not Canada? Because it's free, but it's not fast. And I need fast. I didn't care about the time off, so I grabbed my sons. I took them to Mexico. They did run a bunch of tests and MRIs and X-rays and everything. He got poked in both arms. And the doctor came and talked to us and said, hey, there's nothing wrong with your son, but he's not producing the growth hormone. So I was in shock. I mean, in his office, and say, generally speaking, someone his age should be producing around like 500 units, and your son is only producing 150. So, 2 options. Number one, you can just let it go and see if it grows, and then just you watch the development. Or there's a treatment, but it's really expensive. It's something similar, probably for the people who are like sports. It's the same treatment that Lionel Messi, soccer player, used to pretty much use to get treated for. And he was telling me all that stuff, and you start like listening. And then my son looked at me and said, "Hey, Dad, can you do that for me?" I promise I will do my homework. I will eat better. I will sleep better. And the doctor said, hey, so, it's gonna be expensive. It's gonna be for 10 years because you need to stop. Like if you start right now, you cannot stop. We cannot send the medication to Canada for regulations. So you will need to come to Mexico, bring it back, or somebody from Mexico bring it to Canada. And without blinking, guys, and that's pretty much what WG gives to everybody here, guys. So I say, absolutely, that's fine. Put in the treatment. It has been a success. He has grown from December this year to right now at 7 centimeters. He has gained a lot of weight. He got picked now with his team. He's doing phenomenal. So my message for you guys, what legacy are you gonna follow, guys? There's no excuse. Don't quit, because it's not what you live to your family, it's what you live in your family. Thank you so much, guys. God bless you. See you later.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome CEO Brendan Hendricks.
All right, how's everybody doing? What a great event so far. My name's Brendan Hendricks, and first opportunity to speak here in Vegas, and my goodness, I was excited about it. And I've never jumped on a plane before I've done an event. That's what it's kind of like behind the stage is they send you up, going back. And I'll share a bit of my story and my background. I'm from Canada and Canadians. And grew up in Alberta, Canada, and I was an athlete. Played all kinds of sports as a kid. It was hockey, baseball, and golf. And I fell in love with baseball. And at a young age, I was drafted professionally by the Philadelphia Phillies. And I had an opportunity to represent my country, played for Team Canada. And instead of signing professionally, I opted to go to the University of San Francisco. And we all got some Dons in the crowd, right on. And I shared the field with some household names. The Chris Bryants and the Aaron Judges and the Walker Viewers of the world. And I want you to understand, baseball wasn't just a sport for me. It wasn't just a hobby or something I did. I mean, it was my life. It was 15 years of everything I ever poured into this thing. And it was early mornings and late nights. The athletes know what I'm talking about. In the latter part of my career, I mean, it was 350 days a year of getting after and going to work. And I remember the exact day. In fact, I remember the exact moment that came to an end. It was a warm summer day and a little bit humid outside. It was a slight breeze and it's draft day. And I talked to a bunch of teams, so I'm excited to get picked up again. And I'm sitting in the room and I'm staring at my phone. And I'm anxious because I'm waiting for the call. Somebody to pick it up and I pick up the phone and they say, hey, Brendan, we're calling you up. We want you to be a Yankee or we want you to be a Fuji or a Red Sox. And that day, the last pick was the Los Angeles Angels. Never forget it. A senior got drafted. Myself good for him, didn't he still alive? And my dream closed in that moment. I think for a lot of you can't relate to the athletic part of that, but I think for all of us, we can relate to pouring our heart and soul to something. Right? We can relate to pouring our heart and soul to something, and maybe it comes to an end. It's a job, it's a career, it's a business you had to close, or a relationship that came to an end, or maybe it's your kids. 18 years of your life, you take them to school. The last time you come back to the house and you're an empty nester and you're left holding the bag, and there I was, and I'm looking at the rear view mirror of my life, 22 years old, thinking the best things of my life were behind me, and that's a scary thought at 22 versus 42 or 60. It's just a scary thought in general. And so I floundered for a little while and tried to figure out, what I was going to do with my life, and then WG came across my life, and it's done a lot for me. In the early stages, it gave me purpose. Right, on Sunday night, I was excited to go to the office on Monday. I was able to sink my teeth into something. He passed it again, and I was fueled by faith early on. Anybody else fueled by faith in this room? I was nervous, and I was scared, and everybody says this, but it's true. This building, 2016, I sat right over there, and I just saw too many examples. I just saw too many examples of different walks of life and races and religions and ethnicities and different ages. And that seed of hope got planted that God, maybe you can make this thing happen. And for the first time in a long time, I started to dream again. My identity was so tied to my previous career, and then all of a sudden I'm sitting there and I write in my notebook that someday I'm going to get called up to speak in Vegas. And we began that journey, and this was the hardest speech I've ever planned. For a lot of reasons, there's 22,000 people, so that probably doesn't help. But a big part of it is you want to get the answer. How did you have success? How did it work for you? And in looking back at my career and looking at a lot of people, I think what a lot of people do is they draw a definitive line. They got their business and they completely separate it from their life and their family and their hobbies, and they draw that line. And they got this constant internal battle, right? This internal battle, they're constantly negotiating the price, asking themselves, is it worth it to go all in? And they come to an event like this, and they get fired up and they're excited, but they're sitting there and they know there's something still in the tank. And I know because I've sat out there and I've still had more to give. And then somewhere along the way, my wife and I decided, we're going to take all the chips, we're going to put it all in. We're going to erase that line, and it's no longer clock in, clock out. It's not a 9 to 5 WGN, your life begins. It just became all melded together.
And what I realized is we weren't sacrificing our family, we were sacrificing for our family. There was nothing we were going to do to get to the goal we wanted to get to it. And so we went to work 9 years ago. And if you would have asked me, well, what's the work you done at that time? I would have told you it's the meetings, it's the calls, it's all that kind of stuff. What I didn't realize is the real work is becoming a new version of yourself. I mean, I remember coming to these events at a Rich Scholar retreat, and I'd be sitting out there thinking, damn, I gotta get better. I gotta become a better spouse, father, teammate, in all different areas. And 9 years ago, if I look at a secret, we put the chips in the middle, and we became better versions of ourselves year after year, year after year. And I've never been the fastest to success. It's never been an overnight meteoric rise. I was a runner-up MVP 5 years in a row, nobody knew my name, and we started recruiting some people, and we had a little bit of success. And we bumped our head up, we got a promotion. And then all of a sudden, we started to promote some other people, and then the full circle moment came about a month ago. I'm sitting in my house, and so I'm on emotional disaster with Steve, so if I cry, stay with me. But I'm sitting in my house, and my wife's making breakfast, and it's deja vu. It's that moment again, it's a warm summer day, and even the trees are green, look at humans like trees. And I'm sitting there, and I'm staring at my phone. And I get anxious. This time for a different reason, because it starts raining. And it's not the Toronto Blue Jays or the New York Yankees 9 years later. I look at the phone, and it's a 404 area code. And it says Georgia on it. And I picked up the phone, and on the other side of the phone, it says Susan Davies. She said, hey, Brendan, congratulations. We want to call you up. You're going to go ahead and speak in Vegas. And I think about that moment. It's not the act of speaking in Vegas. It's what speaking in Vegas represents. It's going all in. It's the person who came to get here. And one of my teammates asked me, he said, Brendan, what are you most excited about speaking in Vegas? And I said, well, I'm nervous as hell. I'm starting with that's what I told him. I said, I'm excited for me. I'm excited for our team. I said, truth be told, the thing I'm most excited about is someday I'll be able to share this moment with my grandkids. And it's not going to be the 8-minute version. I'm going to give them the good, the bad, the ugly, the whole deal. And I'm going to say, we went all in this person that I had to become to go from sitting up there to standing up on stage. And I did it with my wife. I did it with my kids. And the journey was so worth it on the other side. So my hope for you, if you're sitting in here and something's stirring and you want to go for this thing, go back home and go all in. And hear all the speakers coming up. That's the secret recipe. If there was one secret, it's going all in. And the best part about it is we're just getting started. Thank you so much for that.
About the climb. Yeah, so this key example is basically and also critical units. So I think I feel good with when people we are there to help. And this is all of our associates. We make a difference for their life. Okay, what do you think about this? If you can help somebody change their life, what a great feeling you have. It's meaningful in your life. This business can allow you to do that. And it will make a difference for the community. And then together, the family pandemic, the beginning of the pandemic, our team do this. And the company met us 5,000